As we slowly accumulate accolades and achievements through our work, we tend to become showered with wealth, respect, validation, and admiration. And few things feel as good as having an integrally affirmed form of this sense of actualization, as they allow you to relish in your own glory and accomplishments with the value-added confidence coming from both external and internal proclamations. However, pride always comes before the fall, as our overconfidence in our knowledge, skills, and agendas will turn into a seemingly unbreakable and rigid phenom. We become pig-headedly closed off to new ideas and influence all through our elevated sense of superiority. If what we practiced and preached had worked tremendously well for us for such a long time, why do we feel the need to change it or add more to it? It's like the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it or replace it, right? Sure, but the world will constantly and inevitably evolve. New ideas, knowledge, practices, and information will be introduced to replace or improve their old, less efficient counterparts. And if you remain inflexibly isolated within your own bubble of outdated, glorified structure for too long, you will eventually develop a delusionary sense of self-worth and get left behind, or worse, outperformed and outmaneuvered. And as we all know, in this world, those who adapt and adjust the fastest will peacefully survive the worst. As children, our minds were remarkably flexible, and we could learn at a rate that surpasses our adult capacities. We can thank much of this source of ability through both our feelings of vulnerability and our disregard for autonomy. Sensing our inferiority alongside our infinite level of curiosity and fascination highly motivates us to learn as we are hungry for new information. That is why we are very open to the opinions of our parents, peers, and teachers back in the day. When we're young, we're always easily swayed by different ideas because of how open we are to influence, thus making us fellow informational sponges that vastly enriched our own mental landscapes without the obstructions of immediate judgments and comparisons due to ego investments. But just as the body tightens with age, so does the mind. As we get older, we develop the ability to think more critically and obtain a far more vivid sense of autonomy over our own lives. But through that, we become more skeptical, egotistical, and reluctant to new information, all in the fear of losing that grasp of structural confidence that make us feel comfortable in our own self-opinion, thus making us develop this sense of pretentious superiority shield over others' ideas, views, and perspectives of the world. Being humble is all about occasionally reintroducing that flexible mind that we have as kids, to momentarily let go of your own deeper set of rules and restrictions in order for new perspectives and information to flow through and capture your curiosity and consideration. Try to see the ideas and opinions that you stubbornly hold not as an immovable or impenetrable wall, but as building blocks that you can rearrange at your own will. Some of them you can knock down and some of them you can keep. This way, you become more playful with them and leave small gaps for new ideas and perspectives that could fit, complement, or even improve that structure you have. Allowing some openings for influence in your autonomy will make you better understand things and even criticize them much more properly, thoroughly, and objectively. As much as we like to strictly abide by our own set of rules and disciplines, we also have to brutally admit to ourselves that we tend to break them from time to time. Notice your own occasional irony to your seemingly uncompromising self-opinion, which is hard to bring to admission for people with supremely high egos and sense of ideals who are self-absorbed or even obsessed with their own agendas. This is how you humble yourself. Admit it. As much as we like to eat healthy, we sometimes get caught up in the moment and carried on eating junk foods. As much as we like to be our own distinct self, we sometimes still conform to the group of people around us. As much as we like to be strong or appear strong, we sometimes still display hints of fear, vulnerability, and insecurity. Realize very well that we are not as perfect as the idealized image of our self-opinion. Our own set of rules are merely guidelines for us to follow, not prescriptions to slave ourselves to. That is why we occasionally violate them to express our freedom and that flexibility we stubbornly refuse to practice. Of course, this doesn't mean that you should completely let go of control and become a total mess. To be humble is not to completely self-deprecate, discredit, or abdicate your autonomy. It's not to make yourself look inferior or dispassionate in front of others. It's to merely admit that our capacity and total understanding of the world around us is far from full or complete. In this world today, we like to pretend that we know a lot about everything, even subjects that we have absolutely no idea of and experience with, subjects that is far from our area of comprehension. Yet we still like to mindlessly ramble about them to sound smart in front of others so that we can get validated, only to realize later on that we have made a complete and utter fool of ourselves and did nothing but further tarnish our reputation. Admit to yourself that there is always something you know nothing about and something more to learn and more to know about. Constantly remind yourself of where you came from or where you started, as this individual who was a total blank sheet of paper to the game, because that white belt mindset to be free and flexible in absorbing information is what got you to be in your current position. The best thing about being humble and be willing to keep on learning is when we got older and we eventually know more about everything, we will have so much conversational arsenal at our disposal, thus making it easier to connect and relate with other people. In today's ego-fueled world, it actually takes a lot of courage to be humble and admit that you know nothing, you have nothing, and you are nothing. Humbleness is only disrespected and loathed when you still remain resolutely ignorant, but it is very appreciated and admired when you are willing to continuously ask, be silent, and listen or observe. Thank you for watching.